Jarvis, drop my needle.
Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley, and if you are interested in listening to idiots, you came to the right place. Have a nice day.
Woo! That's an attention getter.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot. What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
Oh my God, he's an idiot.
You know, of course, that you're out of your jurisdiction.
Personally, I think you're an idiot.
But that's the evidence in the car.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Always like to keep my audience riveted.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, friends and fiends, and welcome to Free Range Idiocy, the podcast about everything, but mostly just the stuff we like. It's been a little bit since the end of the Ahsoka series over on the Plus, and we feel as though enough time has passed to sufficiently digest what we've watched and give some sort of coherent opinion about the latest addition to the Star Wars saga. Well, that and we've both been busier than one-armed paper hangers with a meth addiction. At any rate, it's time for us to run down our predictions and see who's right and who's wrong. Actually, if we're being honest, it's more like who's wrong and who's wronger. But anyways, we've got it all here in this episode 144. Ahsoka, Real or Jabroni returns. I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, is the man who is doing his damnedest to change his HOA rules so he can finally achieve his dream of raising llamas indoor for fun and profit. He has been my partner in idiocy for over 2 decades and was recently given his black belt in knitting. I give you the man they call Tim.
Predictions. Yes, predictions.
Pain. That's a real nice close-up. You just blew someone's ears out who was listening to this with like AirPods.
Jeez. Greetings and salutations, my friend. How are you?
Well, the dumpster fire.
That's a loaded question.
I've turned into a dumpster fire train right now. Choo choo. Woo woo. Pulling into the station. Woo! You smell that?
Oh boy! Is there any music accompanying that train as it flows? There we go.
Because if you gotta be on a dumpster fire train, you at least ought to have some tunes.
There, sir, is an individual who is not a dumpster fire right now. If anything, he is hotter and hotter each week with the crowds here.
Let me talk to you.
Indeed, LA Knight setting the world on fire of professional wrestling. Good God!
I just want this music playing wherever I walk.
Would you say it's glorious?
Let's not mix themes right now, sir.
All right. See, Uncle Todd's in his groove right now. He's happy.
Oh,
he's
so good, man. That's so good. Like every so often, I mean, I know wrestling entrance music is not everyone's cup of tea, but every so often you come across one where you're like, that's genius.
Yes. And 2 Saturdays ago, WWE had their premium live event. They're calling them now, PLEs.
Or Pile, as I like to call it.
Or play, which is the reverse. Yeah, wasn't that like a Sesame Street skit or a Simpsons skit? It's like you know they tried to write like help on the beach, but they wrote it backwards, thinking that's how it would look for. It was Simpsons, probably the Simpsons, and it's like pleh. What is pleh? It's like PLEH.
Sounds about right.
Anyways, but when Triple H got up there for the post-event conference, and or the media scrum afterwards, when he starts talking about LA Knight, he's like, "Can you believe 12 months ago this guy was Max Dupree?" He was like basically like just gushing about how much this guy has done in a 12-month period, going from some crap gimmick and just taking what he once came in as and just making it his own and just oh my gosh, guy is just fire. He's just fire when he gets out there. But anyways,
he's got everybody saying L.A. Knight.
That's right. Whose game is it? All right. Well, shall we jump into the Week in Geek?
The Week in Geek.
feels so funky.
Oh, yes, please. And please feel free to steer me as I go off the rails on this one,
No
because
worries.
this is going to be an interesting episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Uncle Todd is feeling good, or is looking.
Make it sound like I'm medicated. He's feeling good. He's doing very well.
This is a respite from the dumpster fire drink. So
I got him a Thorazine.
Himself.
I got him a Thorazine milkshake Uber Eats over. It's going very well with all the pills that he's taking.
There you go. All right.
And that Snoop Dogg humidifier that he's using seems to be working very well.
Indeed.
As a matter of fact, Redman just moved into his basement with him.
Let's just jump right into Tales from the Fantasy Gridiron, as we are want to do.
No. You're just so nice to me. Now, why are we doing this?
Absolutely. Why? Well, it's been a couple weeks. I want to bring everyone up to date on
they've been
the travails.
Blissful weeks. Blissful weeks in my life.
Quick Slants, my fantasy team. Currently, right now, over the last couple weeks.
Didn't you take that from an adult feature that was back from the 1990s?
No, not at all. That was from the John Madden. Actually, goes all the way back to probably the first game. But nonetheless, last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago with a win, 156 to 151. Last week with a loss, 135 to 185. Right now, I am basically up by 1 point. And it is all hanging on my opponent's defense is what's in play right now, and it is Dallas. So I'm feeling confident that the win is locked up with a 1 point victory, which will put me back at 3-3. I am in the basement of our league. I'm in 8th place. 8th place, but here's the thing: 3rd through 8th place, we're all 2-3. So it's all based on how many points you have scored. So at this point, to determine that ordering. So looking to basically even up and once again make my journey toward fantasy glory with racking up a few wins after that. So
yes, your fantasy glory of, as I predicted, a 500 season.
Not going to happen.
You're going to be sub 500? I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to be way above 500.
I'm a little way above. How many games you got?
Let's see.
How long is the schedule? Is it 12?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 games left in the season. I could still go 12-3.
9 games left. Okay.
Yeah, 9 games left. Still could go 12-3.
I'm still saying 500.
All right. Well, that is a little update on how my fantasy team is doing. Moving on from the fantasy gridiron over into the world of professional wrestling. Little update from is that going to be the lead-in now for that? All right, there we go. Uncle Todd he's grooving.
No, this is just anything wrestling. I'm using as an excuse for this song.
Well, we're going to talk about Edge, a.k.a. Adam Copeland. This is not his theme song, and is no longer even the company he's in.
You think you know him, but you don't.
You don't. A couple weeks ago,
did you know that his wife apparently voiced that, which is interesting that you heard a WWE under contract WWE personality on AEW.
That is true. I'm trying to remember the band that Altered Bridge. So Edge apparently, I guess Altered Bridge owns his theme song, and so he gets permission from them, in terms of where he can use it, and they 100% approved him using it for AEW. So it was kind of cool to see him come into his theme music. So,
oh yeah, it's really funny. I found this out a few months ago. The reason why the Hardy Boys always had their theme song, it's stock music.
Is it really?
It's stock music. You can go out and buy the rights to use the Hardy Boys theme, whatever it's called.
No kidding.
But that's why no matter where they go, they always have the same theme song. I'm like, that's kind of brilliant and also a little sad that WWE is like, just get something off of, Pond.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Pond 5 or whatever it is. I don't want you to spend any more than $10, all right?
$3.50.
Like, they didn't even get exclusive rights for it. Like, that's the thing.
That's
like,
crazy.
They just bought it and they're like, they're not going anywhere. Oh, crap, they are.
I see a real future for those Hardy Boys. All right. Well, anyways, Edge, a.k.a.
Sorry, I've totally delayed this about 5 minutes. Adam.
Yeah. So when Uncle Todd complains about how long this episode is, just think back to these moments when he, there he goes. He's enjoying his elixir. All right. When Adam Copeland, aka Edge from WWE, debuted a couple weeks ago at an AEW event, coming in at the end of which, by the way, I don't know if you've seen any clips from this from Christian's title defense against. Oh God, why does my brain do this? I forget the guy's name now. Anyways, his old partner Christian was defending the TNT championship. He basically goes
that goofy guy with like different eyes and like
yes,
he's like a discount. What's the guy from the friggin' Judgment Day? Ballard.
Ballard?
He's like a discount demon character kind of thing.
Yeah, let me just
like the off-price outlet version of that. But yeah, it was against Sting was involved because apparently Sting can't get enough of bumps in his like 60s.
It drives me nuts. Oh, Darby Allin, that's what his name was. And I think it was a best 2 out of 3 falls match. And I mean, Christian did this insane bump. You got to look it up where he's on the edge of the ring. He's got Darby up in this like Death Valley driver sort of thing. There's the ring steps on the floor and he jumps down and just dumps him shoulder first onto there was very little room for him to protect himself in any way where he's not actually feeling some pain. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's where Clubber Lang
immense
pain comes in. But
that's an immense amount of trust.
You tell me.
An immense amount of trust to put in another human being.
It is.
I don't have that level of trust with many people.
You know what? I trust you, though. I trust you enough to take a rock bottom in a backyard that was uneven. Roots were exposed. I had no idea what I was doing. And,
that's your own effing fault and idiocy in action right there.
I think that's why my lower back is stiff now. That's why when I was walking in D.C. last week, as I'm walking, surveying the peoples and the Washington Mall, and I'm asking my wife to take a break sitting on the bench because my lower back is stiff. It's like, good Lord.
You're welcome. Hey, it's not my fault you were foolish. I'm sorry.
One too many bumps. Bumps.
It's not like you just met me that week. You had a couple of years to go on that one.
Well, I also had a couple of beers, I think, too, when we did that. So.
Oh, I think you did. If I'm remembering right, I don't think either of us were feeling any pain at that point.
Oh, we were not. We were running on.
I think we might have emptied the cooler on that one.
A little bit of adrenaline.
You're just lucky I didn't get you into the fire pit.
That is true. Don't need to be doing any sort of Mick Foley, over in Japan death match sort of deals. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to go there. Good Lord Almighty. But
think
Edge,
about the pop.
Edge comes out during that match with Christian and Darby Allin, and lays waste to all of Christian's underlings after he wins the match. The crowd goes crazy. Really excited to see him. It was kind of cool to see him. I did find other live shots. It was almost like these memes that people posted on Instagram where you see him come out like. When you look at the actual like TV, like YouTube clip of him coming out, the camera I think is looking down where you have like he's walking from left of the frame down the ramp to where the ring is, which is on the right side of the frame. Well, there were some people who put on Instagram the reverse shot where you're going the other way and you see all the empty seats in the arena, and the text they put up is like, "Oh boy, did I make a mistake?"
That's the old WCW trick. Put all the people on the side opposite the hard cam.
Absolutely. So it was interesting to see him in a different place, and he seems very energetic and excited to be there. The thing that is kind of being noticed though is really, even with his presence, there isn't, I think, the ratings bump that they were kind of hoping for from a TV perspective. he definitely seems to be filling in the role that CM Punk was playing as kind of the veteran who wants to work with the younger guys. And admittedly, there are, and he said this in the post event, press conference, that, he's really excited about all the various, potential match pairings that have never really happened with him. He's never fought Samoa Joe. He's never been in the same ring with, Kenny Omega. I think there's a lot of really interesting matchups that can happen, and a lot of different things for him to do, which is exciting for him. Triple H during the Fastlane, press conference afterwards, had nothing but positive things to say. He was asked that question directly by one of the press members of, his thoughts on Edge leaving, and he was very complimentary to him. He's just like, look, it was time. Like we just both felt we had done all we could really do together, and he wanted to pursue that, and he gets it. He's like, it's a tough business, and you got to do what works for you, and so this is what he had to go do, and it was just the right time for both sides to part. So and I think too, there's also a sense that he's in his late 40s. He's going to be 50 pretty soon here, and how much mileage is this guy going to get out of wrestling? So anyway, it was exciting to see. I haven't been as glued to AEW even with his return, but I am curious to see how they're going to use him, and it was interesting to see, even though he's probably a more stable presence than with CM Punk being there and a lot of the backstage drama that happened, but it does seem like it's not exactly bringing the eyeballs that they had hoped.
It's only been a couple weeks. Give him a couple weeks.
Well, last week Tony Khan decided to go crazy on Twitter, apparently, and we're starting to see now that it may not necessarily have all been just Punk, because there was Title Tuesday that went up against NXT, which was fully loaded with The Undertaker and Cena and man. Oh, LA Knight.
Oh, hey, sorry.
It. There it is. Special guest referee. And apparently, shockingly, WWE or NXT, I should say, quite commandingly trounced on AEW's Title Tuesday in the ratings, and Tony Khan basically, like every day thereafter, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just kept tweeting out or I don't know what it's called now, Xing out.
Yeah, I don't.
But sending out into the world these just ridiculous, statements about, kind of whining about how they had to wheel out Cena and Undertaker to do it, and had to do this and that and da 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 da. And it was just like, okay, was Punk really all that off his nut when it comes to?
So here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. It's like you almost have to go back to NFL USFL days. Mm-hmm. It's one thing when you're the upstart and you're doing something different and you keep separation and you don't try to directly compete. When you directly try and compete, you then have the direct A/B test, the direct Pepsi challenge, if you will, and that's what you don't want. You don't want it, because at the end of the day, as much as AEW fans liked AEW, there's not a steady hand there. So anything that they might dig can go away real quick, and it's like, so they did that. It was mostly just like, and here's what we can do. It's like, they had to do this, they had to do that, and they could, because that's who they are, and they can. And it just goes to show just how far away you are, that their C show can bounce your ass with just adding a couple of their main stars, and then a couple of folks who, in one case, like a dude who's been out for a long time but looked like $1 million. Holy crap. Did the Undertaker, I mean, they got to stop doing the bike thing, especially when your entrance ramp is approximately 15 yards long.
Yeah.
But oh wait, I've got visitors.
Uh-oh.
Hey, what's up? Hi. Hey.
I'm going to bed.
Okay.
Why are you yelling?
I don't know.
Okay, good.
Because I got my headphones on.
Tell it's because you're playing that theme music from LA Night.
By the way, we're on the podcast right now, so you want to say hi to anyone? You want to do any shout-outs?
I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I found a joke for my chemistry teacher, though.
You what?
I found a joke.
You found a joke for your chemistry teacher?
Yeah.
Tell us.
No, thank
Tell
you.
us what it is. Come on.
Where do bad rainbows go?
Where do bad rainbows go? Where?
Prism.
Oh.
It's a light sentence.
Hey-o!
That's good. It's a light sentence. That's I
very
like
nice.
the follow up. Very good.
Nice.
Very good. I like that. All right. Good night. Love you.
Well, we're using that on the show.
Oh yeah, totally.
Gosh, your daughter brings the comedy.
It's in the genes. What was I talking about? Oh, Undertaker. Like they bring him out, and I'm like, all right, fine, cool, because it's always nice seeing Taker, and then you realize, oh, Taker really can't move very well, and Taker's been taking a lot of Little Debbie snacks since he called it quits. He got the Taker belly, and then he goes and he smacks this dude, and that what was his? Was it Braun?
Braun Breaker.
That dude sold like nothing. Even Taker for a second, if you like freeze it, you can see Taker's eyes go wide, like, damn, I'm that good. Oh wait, no, he's just that good at selling that punch. It looks like $1 million.
It did.
Looks like everything. Oh, made
the
Taker
punch
look like
$1 million. Taker looks like he needs some hip surgery or something, because that poor guy. Like, and I said this to you, like when he started to get off the bike, you could see him wincing.
Yes,
and then they cut away 100% from him into the crowd, and then they didn't bring the camera back to the ring until he was in the ring, which I'm wondering if he is just noticeably not moving very well, because
even when he went and he turned to all the sides of the ring, like you could tell his balance is not terrific.
Like when he threw his hands up, like the ring. Oh yeah, something was off. Like you could see, like he just isn't himself physically, which is sad. But
it's one of those
not
deals.
Surprising.
Like even Larry Bird, man, and just to compare apples to oranges, I remember him telling someone, he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to live all that long, or I'm not going to live past whatever," and he's just like, "Yeah, guys, big guys don't live that long." And it's kind of true. Like if you're an athlete and you are a big fella, that's a wear and tear, and it's that, and good Lord, God knows Taker's been through a lot. So it wouldn't surprise me if he needs a couple hip surgeries, and that it's rough. Which it's nice to see him, but that is hard to see it sometimes. Yeah. But anyways, nothing to brag about when you're getting smacked around by the C show from the competition. And then trying to play it up like, oh, they had to do this. Like, dude, you can't even compete with either of the top shows.
Yeah.
And then they just show that they can destroy you with their C show if they feel like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 It's going to be interesting too, because with I think SmackDown's TV deals coming up with Fox, and if they move to,
I think they're already on. I think they're already on USA, because the clip that I was talking to you about with Reigns and LA Knight, that was it was posted on the WWE on USA YouTube channel.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check that. I'll have to check that. Yeah, because there was talk that if they move from Fox, then that's right. I think USA did pick them up, which means Raw was going to go somewhere else, but.
I think it was going to go mainly to CBS or whoever Peacock is.
Yeah, something like that. Well, anyways, all that being said, they were talking about maybe shifting SmackDown to like Wednesdays, which would go right up against AEW Dynamite. And I mean, that's not even going to be a competition. I mean, they're so hot right now.
Just be a paintbrush.
And I'll have to send you a link to that article I was telling you about on Cage Side Seats. But one of the guys there put a great piece together around how Triple H, as head of the creative, has created these amazing options for matches coming. Like you can just see that he's just kind of growing through the stories they're telling. So many different ways they can go. They're going to go Reigns and LA Knight. There's Reigns and Cody that still is there. They've now done this thing where Kevin Owens has gone to SmackDown, And how does that now play out? Because, now essentially Jey Uso is the reason that Sami Zayn has been separated from him. Jey Uso is now undisputed tag champ. And so do we see Sami start to go to the dark side because now the guy that he was rallying behind is kind of the reason a lot of things have not worked out for him this year, Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just amazing how rich and deep it all goes, because now they can create some really, compelling main events with all these different guys, and they're not just like limited to two, you know what I mean? So anyways,
it's
we're
no
talking
wonder
about
that,
Edge though, but see, this is representative of him going to AEW because you just end up talking about the other side.
Well, but the fact is, like it's one of the main things that I saw was that Edge wanted to work more matches, and WWE was only had like a handful. Yeah, which makes sense when you consider his age and all that. And I'm sure in some ways they're looking out for an investment. Like, if we're going to sign you, we don't want you out there breaking yourself. But at the same time, it's like, dude, we got to build some of these other characters. We've got to get Roman. I'm sure that if Triple H is really in charge, and even before this, he's like, I got to get credible challengers for Roman Reigns. Yeah, a champ is only as good as a challenger's. Yeah, and that's been a big hole. And man, he's been doing it. Like you say, you have all these options. Oh, it's an embarrassment of riches. You can go any way with that. Yep, it's fantastic. Yep.
So we will see what happens. We'll see if Edge helps to, or I should say Adam Copeland, or apparently what has been trademarked is the phrase "cope." So I don't know if he's going to be called Cope moving forward because his name is Adam Copeland. Cope. Wow, Cope.
That's he's made a mistake. I'm just going to say it now. He's made a mistake. Yeah. And also keep in mind, what is this? This is October. Speaking of AEW and WWE, I believe next month we have a premium live event coming up for WWE in Chicago.
Ah, see, you got to have like Cult of Personality queued up on the soundboard, man.
And CM Punk, I believe Tony Khan basically just gave him a complete unconditional release, right? So he could do whatever. Can you fracking imagine if he comes back to WWE and then is just solid, like no problems, no issues?
Yeah. I would.
What else do you want for proof? And then meanwhile, Edge is like the little kid looking through the window with the freezing cold behind him, like.
It's that video again where you see him walk out and you see all the empty seats and it's like, what have I done?
There was more people at the house show I was at last week.
Oh my gosh! Well, we wish Adam Copeland all the best, and
all
Tony,
the best in his future endeavors.
Stay off the X, please. Stay off the X. All right, moving along.
No, please stay on the X, Tony. It's good entertainment. I don't care if you embarrass yourself.
Uncle
I ain't got a dog in this fight
every day.
Oh, I need something. And rich people embarrassing themselves. Pretty please feed me that. Yes. That's good. That's good stuff right there.
Well, hey, our next item comes by way of InsideTheMagic.net. A little bit of Marvel minutia news for us. Marvel apparently has its new big. This seems to be the theme every week. Is there's some new article coming out about how Marvel has its big villain to replace Jonathan Majors.
Just a series of test balloons they're letting go. Like, what are we going to do?
1 week it's Doctor Doom, played by Josh Hartnett. The next week it's Galactus. Now it's a friend of the show, a longtime Real and Jabroni mainstay coming up here.
Say, what actor are we talking about? Is Chief Tyrrell gonna be?
Not the actor. It's more the character.
I'd pay for that though.
Marvel. Well, wouldn't we all want Chief on the show? You know what I mean? I think we have you on the record saying you would step to the side and let Chief, just kind of be. Uncle Todd's making the mind blown face
because I will forget this, but I don't want to spoil what you're talking about. But I have an idea for casting for this thing that we're going to talk about. So come back to that if you can remember.
Well,
please.
The big bad to replace Kang, believe it or not, is again InsideTheMagic.net. is Mephisto, as played by Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat, if you will. Would be playing, apparently he's to make an appearance in the Disney Plus series Ironheart in a role that is only identified as Mystery Man.
Ooh.
And so the rumor is that because Marvel is not revealing the character, it is believed that he may be playing the demonic mastermind Mephisto.
Damn!
Which means we're going to have to do a reel in Jabroni on Ironheart where we must go on the record. Will Mephisto finally appear in a Disney Plus limited series or not? Yeah, we most likely will be. Can't argue with that. and let's
go with the odds.
We're about to adjudicate, the Ahsoka reel in Jabroni, and my God, the number of Jabronis I had to put up on that one is just the humanity. Oh, Nelly. Well, anyways, what was your mind blown sort of casting idea for Mephisto?
All right, so here's the thing: the whole Sacha Baron Cohen is a total swerve. It's a red herring, if you will.
Red herring. Okay.
None other than Miss Katie Sackhoff plays Mephisto.
What?
Oh yeah, you made Starbuck go from a dude to a lady. Let's do it with Mephisto.
All right.
I'm just saying it could work because then you really lure people in. Like, oh no, it's Mephisto. Oh no, that's Mephisto. Hey, everybody's Mephisto. And then we get Miss Sackhoff in the MCU. Where I still say she would have been a hell of a Captain Marvel. She would have been a hell of a Captain Marvel, I think.
Yeah.
As much as I like Alison Brie, I think Alison Brie's done a great job, but I still think again I would have cast Katie Sackhoff. What's her face?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Captain Marvel. Am I completely?
Hold on,
man. Is my medication just starting to wear off or something, or is it kicking in right now?
Let's see.
I don't know.
You mean Brie Larson?
Brie Larson. I got half of it right. I've been listening to way too much Uncle Corny.
Look, it's Allison Brie Larson, and there's a hyphen in there somewhere.
Yeah, my medication has been kicking in. I was wondering why this spider was over here giving me gang signs.
Oh my,
some really good stuff.
Gang signs. Good God.
Right, I didn't tell you they're organizing against me.
I was going to ask, has the spider invasion started yet? Has the incursion begun?
I'm actually a little nervous that I don't see any down here. I didn't have to kill any before I started. I'm really friggin' nervous where they are.
Oh boy. I'm just waiting for that time Uncle Tom's gonna be looking around and you're gonna see one drop right in front of the camera. Or right to the side where you can't see and you're like, ah! Oh my
that'd
gosh.
be great.
But
anyways,
what are your thoughts on Mephisto
theory.
Replacing Kang?
I don't. Maybe. I mean, I guess. I don't know enough. I really, for as much as we talk about the character, I know very little about him. So I don't know how that would work and how that would become a big bad on the scale of a Thanos or a Kang, or what Kang was supposed to be before he got unceremoniously jobbed out by Ant-Man. The thing is, like, in order to be that level threat, it would be very odd if Mephisto was that level of a threat, and yet the Celestials from Eternals weren't, or something like that. Like an Avengers level event, it seems a little weird to me. You'd really have I could buy into Doctor Doom maybe, in that Doctor Doom then brings some other baddies with him, or somehow works that in. I don't know about Mephisto. Like that's a long way to travel.
Ironheart seems like a weird series to introduce him. Like we back 2.5 years ago, we were pretty convinced that Mephisto would appear in WandaVision because it seemed to go along with the fact that the witchcraft thing was going to be drawn from, and and for Ironheart, where if I'm equating these things correctly, you know, to me was going to be more of an Iron Man kind of a show, right? It's probably going to be more, you know, the technology and her going up against someone. So, I mean, to bring a demonic figure into that story just feels very odd. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem to square up with what, you know, at least I thought it was going to be. But
well, you kind of get the tech versus the magic sort of thing, which is a little bit of what you were seeing in like Black Panther 2. Because you had like kind of the undersea sort of thing. I mean, the thing is, Marvel has made a lot of this work. Whether it's work to your satisfaction is a whole other thing, and there's various people who will argue that till the cows come home. Any cows and all cows. I could see it working. I could see the character working in Ironheart. I just don't know if I see it as that next level baddie. But of course, the other thing is, it's all in the portrayal, because honestly, Thanos could have gone over like a fart in church if they don't do the job they did with the effects. If the character didn't feel as though it had weight in the scenes, if there wasn't actually a physical presence, and if Josh Brolin's performance vocally in creating that character wasn't spot on, that could have been a kind of a laughable sort of villain. So I don't know, maybe Borat jacks us up to the next level. I don't know. I'm doubtful, but we'll see.
It's interesting to consider, but apparently we'll see what the next few weeks bring for other options that will replace Jonathan Majors as the big bad in Marvel.
Yeah. Who's it going to be next time? Who will it be? What
AKA Adam Copeland. It'll be Cope.
It's going to be. Jeez.
Cope is coming.
What a terrible gimmick that would
Not
be.
Kang, Cope.
That makes what? What's the? It's the same level as what's frickin' Sheamus's running buddies there.
The Brawling Brutes.
Yeah, the same level as like Butch.
Oh, Butch. Yeah.
Cope, Butch. Horrible mistakes.
Names are hard, man. Names are hard.
Yeah, man.
All right. Last article comes by way of CBR.com, but most importantly from Uncle Todd during our texting, our weekly texting that we do. And I don't know if you want to chat through this a little bit, but it turns out there's a little more to John Krasinski's suit as Mr. Fantastic and Doctor Strange 2 than even the most ardent Marvel fans missed. And what say you, sir, on this one? What caught your eye with this article where you felt the need to share it?
I got to be honest, I haven't read through the article and I can't even remember it right now.
You literally texted me, this article is interesting.
And it was at the time. Okay, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. It's been a long week.
An intro, and you
when did you text
the goods?
When did I text that to you? It wasn't today.
It wasn't
Wednesday, yesterday.
Last week.
It's a whole different. We live in a completely different world than we did last Wednesday. This is Monday. This is Monday, sir. Do you know how much has happened since Wednesday?
Oh my God!
There's been at least 4 or 5 dumpster fires added to the caboose of the dumpster fire train since then.
Wednesday at 2:38. You sent me.
Was it AM?
No, it was PM.
Oh, okay, just checking.
Oh, first you texted. Oh, because I sent you the article about the one we just talked about with Mephisto, and you wrote, "I'll believe it when I see it, but interesting." And then you send this one about not Captain Marvel. What the heck is his name?
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic. And all right, in fairness, you didn't write anything. You just sent it to me.
There you go. You're putting words in my mouth. I didn't even say anything. I just sent it to you because I'm like, here, do something with this.
Oh my God!
Remember it? Hey, he has a costume. It's interesting. Sure.
Uncle Todd just sends me random links to Marvel information to see if I'll drop it into Week in Geek and then embarrass me once I set him up.
What I like to do is I like to send Tim questionable links just to see if I can script the Google algorithms for him.
Oh my God!
I really didn't want to watch a pony playing piano, but now that's all I'm getting on YouTube. You jerk.
Let's see. What does this article say?
Oh, so you didn't read it either. You're counting on me to carry
it.
this.
I was hoping you would have some remembrance.
Oh, but you don't remember it now? And so now you. Oh, okay.
And let's see.
Pick on the person who's highly medicated right now. That's fine. Yeah, I see how this is. I'm filing a lawsuit. This is discriminatory.
Yeah, say that 3 times fast. Anyways, basically, let's see. Who is this guy?
You are worse than Hulk Hogan.
Oh my God! Marvel Studios head of visual development Ryan Meinerding. Meinerding?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll go with it. Was describing how they put some detail into Mr. Fantastic's suit. You're trying to come up with something that still feels classic and interesting, yet modern enough to exist in an MCU movie and distinct from what's been done before. The intent of putting the extra stripes in there was to say that the black parts add structure to the costume and to his body, and the blue parts stretch. So apparently they put a little more detail into it, make it a little bit different. Let's see what else.
I have no idea why I sent this to you. This is like the most boring, inane crap ever. I kind of apologize, but it's all again.
You owe me
sort of
an
like you
apology.
Still like you taking a rock bottom. Like you've known me how long, and you acted on faith. Like you fool,
ladies and gentlemen.
You fool.
I gave Uncle Todd the benefit of the doubt, and let's just say I will recommit myself to screening the articles he sends me.
Did you ever see? You ever see the? There's an episode of Hollywood Squares, and you can see it's a Gilbert Godfrey, and they keep on having to go for like both people have all the other, they're dead even, and there's this one boss, and it's Gilbert Godfrey, and they keep on like agreeing with him, and afterwards he's like, "You fool," because he's always wrong. And it goes back and forth like 12 times or something. And like the host, everyone's laughing. They can't believe it's going on. And even Gilbert's losing it at the end. He's like, "You fool." That's how I feel with you right now. You fool.
Well, folks, it looks like we're ending this week in Geek a little bit on kind of a fart note here. So I'm just going to wrap it up. Apparently, check out Mr. Fantastic suit. It stretches in places it should and provides structure in places apparently it should. That's what I'm getting out of this article. So. But I just want to make it clear, Uncle Todd sent this in courtesy of CBR.com. So with all that being said, that, my friends, is a rather anticlimactic end to the week in Geek. Good God Almighty.
You fool.
Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you.
And I just put that link in, so you'll have that when you're listening to this. All right, so
just as an update, my fantasy league, I'm tied 194 to 194, so we may have a tie.
You're taking the L. You're taking the L.
I'm not taking the L. Oh gosh.
I'm just gonna love you melting down in the middle of this show.
All right. Well, we are here to adjudicate our real and jabroni picks from the Ahsoka series, 8 episodes that we got to see. Before we jump into our picks, thought we would just chat a little bit on just our overall thoughts on the season. Did this hit expectations? Did it not? We already talked through episode 6. I believe that was our last episode with the glorious debut of the Grand Admiral, and want to. There we go. Run it one more time.
It's glorious.
He is deserving of it.
Glorious. No, I won't give in. I won't give in till I'm victorious.
Nice.
I will defend. I will defend.
Magic.
All right. Enough of that.
Well, we already adjudicated episode 6, but what, sir, were your kind of takeaways from this first season of Ahsoka? And did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I did.
Nice.
I really enjoyed it. I'm on record as saying I think Rosario Dawson is so good. One of my favorite actresses. I just buy what she's doing. Like, she is, to me, is a genuine presence on screen. I don't feel like there's an act, even though I know that she's acting. I feel like there is a real person there, and just a charisma to her as a person and an actor. So having her as Ahsoka has been great, because I think that Ahsoka is that character that people really spark to. There's a reason why there's been this talk of her, and why you have someone a legit presence in Hollywood like Rosario Dawson, like campaigning to be this character. So to me, it was a great match from that standpoint. I enjoyed the stories. I didn't expect it to be, some sort of like, oh, this is going to delve into all of this. Like, there's already a lot of canon backstory. I don't need to go back and rehash that. And I think that some of the negativity that I have seen, with some people calling it Rebels Season 5 or whatever, a lot of it is not recognizing, I think, the world that we're in. Where, oh, well, I want this and this and this and this. Well, a lot of that you can get. Like, go watch Clone Wars. You're watching this show on Disney Plus. All of that is available on Disney Plus. It's there. Like, if you're not catching up on it, then fine. You could still enjoy the show, I think, without having all of that background. Yeah. But I just really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed a lot of the fan service moments. I enjoyed, were there parts where it might have felt a little draggy? Maybe, but I mean, for all the people who are pissing and moaning about that, go back and watch the original Star Wars trilogy, man. There's times that, for all of the ballyhooed, like, oh, it's this and that and the other, there's times when A New Hope kind of drags. Yeah. There's places where it kind of slows down to a mosey, Doesn't grind to a halt, but it's not exactly like clipping right along. Yeah. So I don't get all that negativity. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fan service. I enjoyed the tying together of all these disparate parts. I enjoyed the fact that, oh my gosh, we get a competent, Imperial officer for a chance, for a change in the Star Wars universe. I enjoyed the idea of, these outlaw or like, fallen Jedi and what that means, and adding a little bit more texture to the gray area of Star Wars. And I just appreciated all of it. I really enjoyed it. Was there faults? Yeah, but I mean, God, it was, at least 3 times better than Kenobi, and I still like Kenobi. So, overall, I don't have very big nits to pick with this.
Did it bother you how open things ended with Episode 8?
No, because I don't, and that's
across
another
all the
thing.
Characters, not not just Ahsoka's story, but across all the characters, because it really was a very open ending. For a lot of them, you essentially have Ahsoka and Sabine stranded in Perdia. You have Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati on Perdia as well, but albeit separated and following 2 different paths. You have Ezra returning to Hera, and Thrawn unknowingly bringing Ezra with him, which is ironic because Ezra has kind of been his undoing. It seems. And I don't know if they're going in that direction or not, but and then you have Thrawn on Dathomir with the Great Mothers, and whatever this set of boxes he brought back from that came from the what they call it, the oh my God, my brain is not working. Not sarcophagus, but it's something similar to that. Basically the
coffins, or
the cemetery under the building, whatever that term is.
The crypt.
The crypt. Thank you. So we're left with all of these kind of open things. We didn't have Thrawn reconnect with the Imperial Remnant yet. We just see him, in on Dathomir, but back in the home galaxy. So there was a lot, because one of the criticisms I read is there wasn't a lot delivered on in a sense of what's the next step for the story. But to me, I think that's okay, because as Thrawn very eloquently summed it up in episode 6, our goal is simply to get back to our home galaxy, and that is exactly what he accomplished. To add more to it may have, cluttered things, but what are your thoughts on some of those ideas of it being too open-ended of an ending?
I think those folks need to read the book that I just read. It's I'll give it. I think it's the name is James Vandermeer, maybe. I could look it up, but I don't care to. And the book was called Annihilation, and it was the first in a trilogy of books, and it was terrible. It was absolutely fracking terrible. I kind of read the last half of the book, just waiting to see if it would redeem itself, and it didn't. And like very little progress on the main character, who is your narrator, and very little delivered in terms of any kind of concrete details. No interactions. I mean, really, for a lot of the book, you're either with this main character alone and her thoughts, or in flashback. Not a lot happening. And a lot that was happening was kind of like very much like, and then this, and then this, and then this, and that's it. And no real kind of oomph to it. This, it left a lot of things open, because I don't think anyone actually believed that Dave Filoni is only going to, this one series is self-contained, and it's this little, we kind of already know this is leading to a wider story arc that is going to carry through into other areas and other series. We kind of know this. What the frack are people expecting? Like that Thrawn was going to be, thwarted by the end of episode 6, or what? I don't get that. Yeah, things are wide open. This was placing pieces, and along the way, you have the progression of Ahsoka and Now I'm ticked off at our recording software, so I can't remember. Sabine, you have the progression of their relationship, which is kind of a big deal, and you get a lot of information there. You get a lot of information that kind of fills in Ahsoka's backstory with Anakin, and you kind of realize where she's had this trauma and this kind of hurt in her life. You kind of get to know the fallen Jedi a little bit, not so much that it makes you feel comfortable with them. Like, you just get enough of a taste that you want more. You're left wanting more there. You have Thrawn debut, but I mean, and it's a great debut, showing like the loyalty of his crew and all that, but he's not flashy, which is not the character whatsoever. And he accomplishes, like you said, he accomplishes his goal. Like through his, through cleverness and through determination, he gets to the goal. And the goal is simply to get back to the galaxy. Because then everything else is based off of that. And they find Ezra. And you get the live debut of Ezra. You get a little, thing there. And then you get Ezra to Hera. Now, is Hera underused in the show? Yeah. But at the same time, you only got so much screen time. And it's not, the show wasn't called Hera Syndulla, it's Ahsoka. And you spent most of your time either with Ahsoka or things directly related to Ahsoka, or a relationship that is important to Ahsoka being, kind of shaped in a way by what's happening.
Yeah.
So to me, it all fell together. And essentially what you're doing now is you've managed to progress some of these characters. You've introduced some new characters. You've now created this immense threat, but you didn't give away what that, necessarily what the next step is, because, hey, that's the interesting thing. It's drama, it's tension.
Yeah.
And then you have these other pieces all set on the board. Like, yeah, this is how this works when you know that you're not just telling one self-contained story. There's going to be more to this.
Yeah,
I don't understand where people would be puzzled by this. And to me, there's enough resolution there in terms of like some character arcs and introductions and all this. Like, if you're not satisfied with it, maybe go take up stamp collecting or something. That's my thought.
All right. Well, I'll give you mine. I too enjoyed the season. I thought it was very well put together. Clearly had, the first, half of it, first 4 to 5 episodes, very, kind of focused on the journey and Ahsoka having to come to some measure of understanding or peace with herself in order to make the journey to Perdea and for what was expected of her, after that. And I think, it wasn't 100% resolved. I mean, I think there were still, questions and some doubt in her mind, as she made the trip, through the Purgles to that galaxy. But I enjoyed, how it kind of ended for her, where, she was at peace with the fact that she's exactly where, she needs to be. She saw that, I forget the name for that bird, but it is, from my understanding, from lore, is that, and I haven't watched these parts yet, if this is in Rebels or in Clone Wars, but there's that whole concept of the father who's kind of the balance of the force. There's the son who's the dark side, the daughter who's the light. And so my understanding is the daughter, at some point Ahsoka died, but the daughter kind of sacrificed her spirit to basically bring her back. And so that bird has always been kind of a symbol of her, kind of her purpose and where she is and that sort of thing. And so, I like how it ended with her seeing that. I like how it ended with Anakin, being ever present, even as, a force ghost, but being with her even in this other galaxy. So for her character, I thought there was a really nice, growth arc, as well as, a good effort on their part to thwart Thrawn. They had to make it interesting, because for him to just get away without it really being, climactic or with any sort of stakes was not going to be good. And so part of me was a little bit, I was a little irritated with how overpowered they just kind of seemed, rushing his tower, having him rain fire down upon them and making it through it. Like it just seemed like they could just get through a lot of what he had. And the only trump card he had was the Great Mothers, who essentially, pulled a trick that they, Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine had never experienced before, which is the things that they killed all of a sudden came back to life and continued to attack them and started to overwhelm them. And I did like it, because I think, you had to kind of establish that to some degree. But again, it, for me, I wanted, I don't think it took away from Thrawn, but I think some of the mystique of him as the strategist and, thinking a few steps ahead, maybe it cheapened it just a little bit for me.
But it was just a quick retort, but that was an asset at his disposal.
Right.
So why would you not use it, especially almost use it as a last resort, as a, okay, let them get here. And then almost like he said, when he sent the two, Hati and Skull out, kill them if you can, and if not, oh well, they're still stuck here. Right. Whatever, almost the same thing. Like, hey, if we can get them with the zombie, if we can get them with the stormtroopers or the night troopers or whatever, was it night troopers?
Night troopers, yeah.
Get them with the night troopers. If the night troopers don't work, then we'll get them with the zombie night troopers. And if that don't work, then you know what? As long as we keep them on the tower long enough that we can then blast the thing out from under them, then we'll get them. And if we don't get them, as long as they don't get on the ship, hey, guess what? We still win. Yeah. To me, that's incredibly strategic. Every other Imperial officer would have been like, no, we're going to throw everything at them at once and allow them to use in one fell swoop.
And this is what I struggled with and why I was debating whether even to bring it up, because I appreciate what they were trying to do. I really do. And I don't feel, if I'm complaining about it, it's not that it soured the season for me or soured, this is like a 2% little thing that I'm complaining about, with 98% of it being great, but there's a part of me that feels like, look, he's raining down fire from his ship. It just felt a little, I don't know, forced to me that they made it through as easily as they did. You know, like it just seemed like some of the early challenges, it was just too easy for them to get through. And I get what they were doing because they had to build up in some way to this idea of Ezra getting on without him knowing that, you know, they wanted to establish Sabine and her ability to use the Force. They had one last face off between Ahsoka and Morgan Elsbeth, which made sense given how those two characters started out in Mandalorian. So I get all of that. I don't have a good alternative, but there was just something as I'm watching it, like it felt anticlimactic to me because it's like, well, of course they have to work up to this. You know what I mean? Like it didn't feel earned in some ways. You know, it just kind of felt like this has to play out this way because we're working up to this sort of face off at some point. And I know an argument can be made from past works that, you know, you could assume those very, you know, sort of things as well. But I don't know. There's some aspect of the way some of the other shows and movies have been done where it wasn't such a foregone conclusion that it had to go this way, you know? And maybe it was just the story being told. Maybe it was just, look, Thrawn needed to get away and you've got to make it compelling. You've got to make it, you know, have some stakes, and you've got to make it interesting with the good guys just about making it there and just about getting to them. But
do you think,
nonetheless, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, do you think that is partly because we, knowing the Heir of the Empire books and everything else and kind of getting a feel for where this might be heading, is that because we already know that, you're almost looking to be surprised instead of it going according to course?
I mean, like as an alternative, I'll just offer this up.
Mm-hmm.
He knows they're coming, right? But if they had somehow, like, I don't know, snuck their way into the tower or something like that, or like for some reason that whole part with his ship trying to attack them and not hitting them or not causing them some problems, I don't know why that bothered me so much. It's like you have this massive Star Destroyer and it's raining fire down in every which way and they magically get through it, you know, with these beasts. You know, it just, I mean, that felt a little much
that's
to me.
Every Star Wars movie and show, like in every it's like every show, like go back to the A-Team, dude, like thousands of rounds shot from fully automatic rifles and ain't nobody get hit. Like,
I hear you. I hear you. I know.
I get what you're talking about.
I'm splitting hairs. I admit it. I'm splitting hairs, but
I get it. I think there is that human desire to, you know, have something shocking or something surprising when you think you know the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it can still be satisfying even when you kind of feel like, okay, I know where this is going. It can still be satisfying, and that's kind of.
Now,
I felt like I kind of knew the end too, and I still was pretty satisfied by the show.
I mean, it's a cheap thing to complain about because we all knew where the end had to go. Like, it wasn't like Thrawn was not going to make it. It was just, I don't know. I guess I wish the journey there was a little bit different and a little bit. I'm struggling to figure out the right way to word it, but I guess I'm wishing the struggle for the good guys was a little different, you know, in terms of how they got there. But nonetheless, they got there. I will say, ironically, you know, because I had you know, my procedure a couple weeks ago and I was watching a lot of Rebels, I finally got through the end of season 2, going into season 3 of Rebels. And they do, I think it's in the finale of season 2, they do an element of that force push thing that they did. Where Sabine and Ezra kind of force push each other or something to that degree, like whatever it was they did.
Well, it's like a push and pull.
Yeah, and it was just funny because I had literally just seen it, you know, like in Rebels, and so I'm seeing it now. I'm like, oh, well, that's where that came, you know. So that was a nice little callback to the series. And then, you know, I kind of wish they had done the thing with Morgan Elsbeth being kind of knighted or I don't know what it was that happened there, but possessed. I wish they kind of did that in 7 a little bit and established that a little bit more. It just seemed very rushed in 8 where she gets, you know, knighted that way. She's being given that
5th and 6.
No, because 8 is in episode 8 is where she gets the sword of Talzin. I thought it was the beginning.
There's only
of 7.
6 episodes, wasn't there?
No, there was 8.
Oh my gosh, I suck.
There was No, it's all right. Thrawn debuted in 6.
That's
7
right.
was kind of a
Oh
placeholder, and then 8 is the finale. And so that's all right. Don't worry about it, man.
Somebody bring out the medication tray again. I'd like to check it out.
It's all right. It's all good. But you know, it felt like they rushed a lot of her story into that finale, and it would have been, you know, again, this is less a complaint and more me wishing that we just got a little more depth there, you know, and maybe it wasn't important. Maybe that's why they did it the way they did it, but it just would have been, to me, a different pacing if they had maybe established that in 7 a little bit. Like, let 6 be Thrawn's debut, let 7 be her ascension to whatever this role is that she's now, you know, playing with the Great Mothers, and then let 8 be the final face-off between her and Ahsoka, which, you know, again, I thought was a nice way to bring them full circle based on how we first were introduced to her character in The Mandalorian. So, because it just seemed that whole Sword of Talzin thing just came and went, and what was, you know, like, I don't know. I just kind of wish there was a little more to it. You know what I mean? But these are all hairs that I'm splitting. These are all hairs I'm splitting. Now, the thing that I loved, and I don't mean to focus so much on episode 8, but I will for a moment. I absolutely loved as Ahsoka and Sabine are trying to catch up to Thrawn's ship just before he makes the jump, how he opens the channel and basically does a very true to the book version of Thrawn sort of thing, where he basically commends his opponent for a good battle, but essentially tells them, "I have won, ha 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 ha," and I love the line where he talks about, you know, I wish we could meet face to face, but the likelihood of that is, you know, not going to be. But maybe I think the way he phrased it is, but maybe that was just meant to be for a Ronin such as yourself to be, you know, kind of, you know, relegated to this galaxy. I love how throughout the season they've brought the samurai aspect of what the Jedi Knights were always meant to be in Lucas's vision. They brought that verbiage into the lexicon of Star Wars. It started with Ray Stevenson's character, Baylan Skoll, talking about how Ezra was a Bakken Jedi, which a Bakken is meant to be a wooden sword that's used for just, you know, practice and is not really highly regarded. So it was an insult what he was saying. Same with Thrawn calling her Ronin, because a Ronin is essentially in this case a Jedi without a master, which we later find out is not the case, because Anakin is in fact with her and in many ways is guiding her you know, through this journey, which is a real Jabroni we'll get to. Indeed. But yeah, it was just an unexpected like term he used, but I love how they really, like, that was an example of how they, you know, Filoni knows this character and the, you know, they are really bringing the best parts of Thrawn out, you know, in this series and really showing, you know, how he was so much different from the other Imperial officers and commanders we've seen. I mean, yes, in a way he was bragging, but there is actually a very civil, intelligent way to his message that comes across. Like he, you know, I have no doubt he is truly commending them for what they did. And, you know, he can say that because he knows victory is at hand, but the fact he takes the time to do it and, you know, kind of acknowledge the quality of opponent that he just faced off was I thought really cool and true to, you know, how Thrawn behaves in the books. And then to acknowledge, what was the other thing? Yeah. He talked about wanting to meet, you know, he wishes they could meet face to face, but they won't. And then, you know, basically underscores it by saying, you know, today victory is mine, long live the Empire. And then they jump. And I just thought that was just amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was
no,
amazing.
It was great.
All right, dude, there is something that is literally flying around your head. Like, I thought it was a spider at first. What was it?
There was a little spider that came right down here.
Did it really?
Oh yeah.
It finally happened. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, it was a little one. I'm waiting for his big brother to show up.
I was going to say, you can have whole family is going to start descending upon your position.
Come down with a tennis racket. They're going to wait till someone turns the lights out. That's what's going to happen.
Good Lord. Poor Uncle Todd. I'll be back in the dark cave again.
Never know.
But I went deep on Thrawn, and we've talked at length about our respect and admiration for that character. Baylan Skoll, as played by Ray Stevenson, what a amazing character to come out of this season. Not anything that I mean, honestly, going into the season, I thought he and Shin Hati were basically going to be bit players, and we're going to be expended, at the end of the season. But what a great, first of all, what an amazing acting job he did. And not just saying that because he has passed on. I mean, if he was still alive, I would be seriously excited for season 2 and what he'd be bringing to the table with his journey. But,
instant gravitas when you hit the screen. Like you just instantly bought him.
And to look like a knight, you know what I mean? Like very rarely have we seen Jedi Knights looking like, kind of the word that describes them, a medieval knight. And I mean, he just brought, like you said, a gravitas, a physical nature to his role. The sword fights as well. Just did an amazing job. And, really, it's sad to know that he's not going to be able to keep that going. But Uncle Todd has been mining the interwebs and sent the man they call Tim a potential suitable replacement. In the form of, and I'm going to butcher his name probably because I seem to do that with all actors' names, but I believe it's Liev Schreiber. Is that his name?
Yeah.
I got it right. So
him and Ron Perlman, man, they could knock that out.
I feel like Liev Schreiber though looks a lot like Ray Stevenson though. He has more of a likeness to him where I could see if he had a beard, it would be very close. Ron Perlman is so unique facially, the way he looks. Yeah. That it would just be, I think it'd be too different, unfortunately.
It's a total like roadie recasting where you'd almost have to have a line that's like, we get it, you get it. Okay, next.
Move on. But to even understand, to have his character talk about that breaking that cycle and whatever he's trying to go after with the father, son, daughter, situation, I think we're getting a feel for Perdea being maybe where those entities, kind of originated from. And so I just think those two characters were kind of like, I would call them the unexpected MVPs of the season because I didn't expect much from them. And they ended up being some of the more fascinating parts of it. Sadly, more so than Ezra, it was great to see Ezra in live action, but if you ask me what stood out in this season, Baylan Skoll by far stands out more than Ezra does. And Shin Hati not as much, but she still brought a her own kind of presence to things, very ruthless, very focused as a student of this fallen Jedi.
Yeah, that's what you need to do though. You need to get the new characters over. You need to get people intrigued by them. Ezra is there, and he's going to be part of it going forward, no doubt. There's, you don't need to work to build him up that much right now. You just need to intro him, not have him fall on his face, and be ready for the next thing that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. That's all you need. Like Ezra's character is there, and there's enough background. You got plenty of time on that. You got to work with the new characters that you have.
Yep.
And they did a fantastic job with that, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right. What else we got? Where is this all going? So I threw up a couple articles. We'll go through them real quick. I'm not going to read them or anything, but one article from inverse.com, plays into if, Thrawn clearly displayed a knowledge of who Anakin Skywalker was. And in his, kind of parting message to Ahsoka, mentions to her that he concluded that her strategies would be very similar to his, and then makes this snide remark of, one questions how similar you will end up, both being, as if to say she may fall down a similar path as her master did, becoming Vader. this article talks about how, whether it's in season 2 or in the Heir to the Empire movie, do we see Thrawn, start to weaponize this knowledge that Anakin was in fact Darth Vader as a means of invalidating or starting to challenge the position of Luke Skywalker and Leia Skywalker, or Leia Organa, who is, his sister, challenge her position within the New Republic. Thrawn is about playing mind games, and, he's not just a military strategist. He wants to get into his opponent's head. And this article is talking about, if he really truly has this knowledge of who Anakin is and it's not well known, does he start to undermine some of the foundation of the New Republic by revealing that, the Dark Lord was actually the father of two, probably, foundational members of that government forming, through the rebellion. So I thought that was really fascinating. The other one is, does Shin Hati end up becoming, kind of the avatar, the stand-in for Mara Jade? One of our Reel and Jabronis was, will we see Mara Jade? We did not. But we did see for a moment Ahsoka kind of extending a hand to her, saying, come with me, we'll take you in, we'll teach you whatever. And she kind of runs away. So the thought behind that is, is she kind of a stand-in for that character? Really, in the same way that, and I didn't realize this. We did this Reel and Jabroni about seeing Rook. I didn't realize Rook was killed in Rebels. So I kind of screwed up on that one. I think why did you say the reel on that? You said the reel too, and you watched the whole season.
Dude, I don't even remember what I sent you last week for a text. You're expecting me to remember what happened in season 4 of Rebels? Are you high?
Oh,
you do?
Not as high as you, my friend.
You fool!
Good God!
I'm not high. I am medicated. I wish I was medicated. I just have this lovely blonde ale. That's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. I just want everyone to know I am compos mentis as much as I usually am.
Yeah, you are. You are. Oh boy. But in the same way where I kind of look at the Great Mothers as almost being kind of a fill-in for Jorah Sabath. Like, I don't think we're going to, like, now that I've seen where they're going with Thrawn, I don't know that we're going to get a Jorah Sabath, because Thrawn has now his dark magic. He has this, the ones that can influence, some of the outcomes of what he's going to do. And I'm wondering now if they're going to be, kind of a fill-in, for that character, because quite honestly, it leads, although it does lead to a clone Luke, but who knows if that's part of what catacombs. Catacombs was the word from before, not crypt. Catacombs. Yes. 20 minutes later, catacombs.
The chipmunk ran across the circuit board and connected to
Blay. That's right. Thank you, LA. All right. And then finally, I'm calling this follow-on content, but whether it's season 2 or whether it's the Heir to the Empire movie or something else. But is this all headed? What do you think of,
you're really homing in on something there.
Well, wait. What if it's all heading toward Thrawn being the reason that Coruscant falls? And the reason this is getting brought up is if you go to episode 7, the New Republic capital is no longer in Coruscant, but is on a planet they call Hosnian Prime. And one of the questions that came out of that is, well, what happened to Coruscant? And so the thought being, is Filoni going to use Thrawn as a story, which I think would be kind of cool, because it would be nice to see him establish his ruthlessness as the warlord, as he's called, which, by the way, episode 8's title, what was it called? The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord.
Yeah. Oh, that was gorgeous.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh. Love it.
Filoni, you brilliant bastard, you.
Indeed. But, in the Heir to the Empire book series, they do a very cool sequence in The Last Command where Thrawn is essentially trying to paralyze Coruscant and prevent any kind of support being sent from the planet to space to kind of, stop him from what he's doing by surrounding the planet with basically cloaked asteroids. So no ship can really go in or out because they don't know, where the obstacles are. They can't navigate it because everything is cloaked. And so I'm wondering, not that that's going to happen, but I'm wondering if they're going to use him and whatever he ends up coming up with to basically put an all-out assault on Coruscant and, really, in some ways try to challenge the New Republic in terms of its ability to govern, because, as the article I linked kind of points out, we've seen in Mando season 3 and we've seen in Ahsoka a real focus on Coruscant and what's going on there, and really getting, some deep views into that planet. Is the reason for that potentially that they're looking to bring about its end by kind of establishing it as this thing that may persist over time, but ends up falling in the end because of this ruthless warlord. So kind of an interesting, some interesting ideas and thoughts on where this could all go, but we shall see.
Yes, indeed we shall. And I just want folks to note that we are rapidly approaching an hour and a half of this episode before we even get to the accumulation of real and jabroni adjudication. I have not looked at the actual results. I have a feeling that the man they call Tim is behind. That's why he's been postponing this and putting it off.
Not at all.
I may be wrong. I might be right.
I'm feeling spunky. Spunky.
I'm not even, out of respect for you, sir, I'm not even going to take a swing at that one. All right. What do we got?
All right. Any other thoughts on where we're going with Ahsoka?
No,
Are you ready to?
Let's tee this sumbitch up.
You sure?
Oh my gosh! Listen, dude. It's approaching midnight here.
It's not quite midnight. Just trying to draw this out, baby. Just try to draw the drama out. All right. Are you ready? I don't think he's ready. What is that?
I don't know, a piece of fuzz. Anyways.
Oh, I thought that was some sort of insect you just smote or something.
Anyways, let's get the show on the road.
Here we go. Well, the adjudication of Ahsoka, Real, and Jabroni. We'll start with our first segment called
there
In
are a
or
lot of
Out.
jabronis. Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Are you ready, sir?
We suck. Yeah, I guess.
All right, rumor the first. Anakin will only appear in ghost form. Uncle Todd said real. Man they called Tim said real. That's a big old fat jabroni.
Yeah, no, we saw Anakin. We saw Anakin Vader. We saw Vader Anakin. We saw him in the
Anakin in both
worlds.
ghost and corporeal form. So,
yes, we got more Anakin than you can shake a stick at.
Rumor the second. We will see... Oh, there he goes with his toilet pipe thing.
I don't have a stick. I just have a piece of connector here. Anyways.
Toilet connector. All right.
Sally forth.
Rumor the second. We will see Captain Pelion. Uncle Todd said the real. Man they called him said real. And that was a big fat jabroni. You got to get Sheiky on here with the jabroni. Makes you, that's right, it does make you humble, Sheiky. All right. Number 3, and this is the bonehead call of the day, of the week, of the season. We will see Rook, R-U-K-H. He was a character from the Heir to the Empire book series. Needless to say, I did not realize Rook was in the Rebels season or series.
This is a layup for me, and I completely missed it.
Yeah, this is the thing. Uncle Todd has seen the entirety of the Rebels season, and he said the real on this. I said the real on this, and it was jabroni because Rook apparently dies in Rebels.
Well, you know what? This one's for both of us.
Oh, we are. Oh my God. Number 4. This one hurts because I really, really wanted to see this. I wanted to hear it said. I wanted to, bring the books even more to life. We will see Mount Tantus. We did not. Uncle Todd said jabroni to this correctly. Man they called Tim said the real, and it was in fact jabroni. So Uncle Todd is now a +1 on the board here for the adjudication. All right. Number 5, we will see... Oh, good God. Let's not celebrate yet here, please. Good. That's what we're going to do. When you go up, you play this. When I go up on one, you have to play Glorious. All right. Yeah, he's dancing still, folks. The man who wants us to be over soon because it's midnight. It's 19 tickety a.m. over where he's
I'm
at.
taking my victories where I can, sir.
All right, I'll let you have it. All
Thanks.
right, number 5, we will see the Grisk. The Grisk are a ruthless alien race from the Thrawn books. We both said Jabroni on this one. It was Jabroni, so we each get a point. By the way, the pointing system is such that if someone wins outright, 2 points. If there's a tie, 1 point each. If we're both wrong, 0.
Which I would like to point out that when we've used this scoring system, which is supposed to guarantee that you don't have a tie, we had a tie.
It doesn't guarantee there isn't a tie. It just,
it should.
Well, thank you. All right. Number 6, we will see Mando make an appearance. Uncle Todd correctly said Jabroni. I said the real, and it was Jabroni. So that is now +2 for Uncle Todd. There we go. So I was waiting for it. Doing the dance again. Good God. You know what? You're going to sully that theme now. You're going to play it so many freaking times. We're going to be like, oh, I don't want to hear that anymore. All right. Number 7. Number 7. We will see Mara Jade. We both said the real. That was a big fat jabroni, unless Shin Hati is going to rename herself Mara Jade. But indeed. So we both get that wrong. Number 8, we will see Talon Card. Talon Card is a smuggler from the Heir to the Empire trilogy. Thought it'd be kind of cool
think of him
see
as Han Solo Plus.
Yes, that's a great description of him. Han Solo Plus. We actually were hoping, because there was some rumors that Robert Downey Jr. was going to somehow find his way into the Star Wars universe. Remember we talked about this? And we talked about him potentially being Thrawn.
Again,
and you're
dude,
like, no
I don't
way.
even remember the article I sent you last week. You're talking about like last season stuff here.
If you go back to episode 93 of Free Range Idiocy, I don't know if it's really 93. I just pulled that. I pulled that number out.
You're killing me here. You're killing me.
You're killing me, Small. You're killing me. We talked about. I think
this is almost out. Okay, I can't
if we
deal
go
with
back to the Ahsoka,
Daddy
reel and
needs his
Jabroni
medicine.
picks,
Somebody,
I think we
please.
talked about how cool it would be if Robert Downey Jr. played Talon Card. It would make for a fascinating Talon Card.
I'm sure we did, but you expect me to remember this stuff, which is
I do.
Just, sir, come on.
All right,
come on.
So Uncle Todd said the real for Talon Card to appear. I said Jabroni. You did. You said the real, and it was Jabroni. So now Uncle Todd is only up by +1. Can I have my glorious for a moment, please? I just put some points on the board. No, I don't want to hear that. Give me the
I'm still up by a point. Oh, okay.
You are? Well, I scored something here. There we go. That's what I want to hear. Some glorious. Thank you. Absolutely. All right, number 9. This one was a huge disappointment. We will see a Salamiri. So Salamiri are these lizard-like creatures that generate a force-negating bubble, and Thrawn uses them to essentially defang any sort of Jedi that come near him. And really hoping, to see that. I was kind of hoping the contents from the catacombs were an entire army of Salamiri, but when Morgan Elsbeth said that would be 3 rotations worth of stuff coming out of there, I'm like, yeah, it's probably not Salamiri. Gosh darn it.
It's a lot of Salamiri right there.
Well, we both said the real on that one. That's a big fat jabroni, so no Salamiri. Number 10, we will see Jor Sabath. Jor Sabath was a clone Jedi Master, and that did not happen. That did not happen. I think the Great Mothers are going to end up being a surrogate for him. But we both said Jabroni. That was Jabroni, so we each get a point. Number 11. Oh, this one hurts because all I had to do was change one word to say we will see or add 2 words, see or hear one or more of Han Solo, Lando, and Princess Leia, and we would have nailed it. I actually would have got something for this one. But we will see one or more of Han Solo, Lando Calrissian, and Princess Leia. We saw none of them. We did hear from Princess Leia via C-3PO.
Like secondhand. You didn't even hear her voice.
I said via C-3PO. I wasn't saying she appeared.
But you see, I would have argued that
we were
had
that
you said
close. That close. We were a spider pinch away. Isn't that the maneuver you use when it's like right there? You go pinch, right? You know? No? Or is that the claw?
I do that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pinch.
I'm not sure what. Okay.
Anyways.
Must be some sort of Chicago thing.
Uncle Todd said jabroni. I said the real. The correct answer is jabroni. Uncle Todd goes up +2. There it is. Boy, listeners, you're going to be so tired of this. We're going to be responsible for the fall of LA Knight's, hot streak that he's on right now, because we're going to run this theme into the ground. Number 12, we will see Luke Skywalker. Uncle Todd said the real to this.
I did? Oh my
you
God.
did. I said jabroni, and the correct answer was jabroni. So now Uncle Todd's lead is merely +1. Can I get a little tickling of the piano keys, please? Thank you very much. All right. Number 13, we will see Zeb Aurelius. So Zeb, of course, we saw in Mando Season 3. I believe it was in the kind of, what would you call it? The postlude, after all the craziness had kind of settled out. We saw Zeb.
Yeah, like the Officers Club at whatever.
Yes.
Little
the Admirals Club of the Rebel pilots.
Actually, it was more like the makeshift bar in MASH. That's what it kind of looked like. Actually,
well
no,
done.
it was
well done.
Joe's bar from season 3 or 4 of Galactica.
Yep. I agree.
No piano though.
We both said the real to seeing Zeb because it would have fit in with this being kind of like, Rebel Season 5, but we did not see Zeb, so that is a big old jabroni. So after the first section here, first 13 rumors called In or Out, I believe Uncle Todd is up by +2, I think +1.
Wait, no, because you were never even, and then I got that last one.
No, you.
I was +2.
Let's see. Let's go through this real quick. I have it all calculated out, but nonetheless, we'll go through it here. 1 second. So you have a +1 here. Oh no, wait a minute. +1 here.
I will litigate.
+2 here. This was back down to +1. We're the same. This is +2 here. And now this is a +1. You got this one wrong. You said we will see Luke Skywalker, and we did not. So you are at a +1 going into the next section.
Your Honor, I
right.
withdraw my objection.
I do love that you have the People's Court music all queued up and ready to go. So, all right. Our next section was called Better Than Ezra. This is rumors kind of surrounding Ezra Bridger. And boy, did we really punt on this one quite horrifically. All right.
Should we just skip this one altogether and just say what the adjusted score is? Do we need to embarrass ourselves?
No, we're going to go through this because for the first one, rumor 14, Ezra Bridger will have turned to the dark side. Uncle Todd correctly said jabroni. I said the real, and it was jabroni. Ezra was fully good, fully on the light side. +2 now for Uncle Todd. Yeah, now he wants to count the score. It's like, oh, I don't want to count the score. Oh, wow, he got off his stool and he's dancing. Oh, my God. Lord help us all. All right, number 15, Thrawn and
I think
Ezra
I busted
are...
a hip bone.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself. Thrawn and Ezra are working together. Uncle Todd correctly said jabroni. I said the real, and it was jabroni. You are now +3, sir. Yes. All right, number 16, Ezra fights Ahsoka. We both said the real, but it was jabroni. Number 17, Sabine rescues Ezra. We both said the real on this one. I said the real, or I ruled this to be the real. It really doesn't matter because either way, we either both gain or we both lose. But
she kind of did in the end because she is the one who like oomphs him onto the ship. So yeah,
which I got to tell you, if it's anyone else, if you just see your close friend for the first time exhibit some sort of power like that, are you going to trust jumping off a tower and have them guide you up into that ship? That is a great deal of faith that one Ezra Bridger showed in Sabine.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you were foolish enough to trust me to take a rock bottom from me.
Well, fair enough.
This goes to show how foolish friends can be. Except they were sober.
After this section, Uncle Todd is up +3 on the man they call Tim. Let's see if he can turn things around in the next section called "What's Up with Thrawn?" All right.
What's up with Thrawn?
What's up with Thrawn?
Yeah. Anyways, I have no idea how that song goes. I just felt
victory is mine. Long live the Empire. All right, number 18. Thrawn is seeking Mount Tantus. We both said the real. That was
Wouldn't it be great to have Thrawn's voice for like your GPS? Make a right-hand turn in 600 feet.
Victory is mine.
After every turn, victory is mine. That would be awesome and incredibly annoying. After about 10 miles.
How did that original line go when we first see him? He's like, "What was once a dream has now become a frightful reality for those that may oppose us." Like, that would be a wonderful thing as you're finally getting to your destination.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, this is $1 million idea. I think we have we got to take all the Thrawn, one-liners.
Well, the thing is, you're the one with all the tech knowledge. You can do this. You can hack Siri and get that going.
That's right.
Of course, you probably 19. Also get fired and like completely kicked out of your industry of choice, but it's so worth it.
Fair enough. Number 19, Thrawn's plan after returning is to restart cloning at Mount Tantus. All we've seen so far is he's in Dathomir. So even though Uncle Todd and I both said the real on this is, again, a jabroni. All right. Uncle Todd is still up +3. There has been no movement since the prior section. Number 20.
Constipation, if you will.
Indeed. Thrawn's master plan is to return the Empire to prominence. We said the real. That's pretty much a foregone conclusion. I don't know why I put this one in here, so apologies on that front. So each get a point for that, but everything stays even. Number 21. Thrawn's master plan is to prepare for an invasion from an unknown region's threat, the Grisk or the Yuzon Vong. We both said jabroni, and that is also a jabroni. There is, although I will say one aspect of this season that I thought was cool was the introduction of this, the fact that there's another whole galaxy that they have to jump to, and it kind of opens the door. I think we talked about this when we did these picks. It does open the door if Filoni and company want to bring in, once they get through Thrawn, if they want to bring in another threat. Now that galaxy has been established, it would be reasonable to have this group kind of come in, since they were originally kind of from the outer regions, from the unknown or outer regions. And
even better, it gives Star Wars fans a completely new thing to piss and moan about.
Yeah. Well, and actually a reason for the Empire and the New Republic to come together. Like, maybe that's a point where they actually have to kind of come together because the threat is so great that it really doesn't matter who's in power. They're going to get wiped out one way or another. So,
and again, it'll be something for Star Wars fans to piss and moan about. Yay.
Indeed. Number 22, Thrawn. Oh, sorry. So for 21, we both said jabroni. It was jabroni. Number 22, Thrawn is beginning his quest to find the Katana fleet. That is kind of actually another point I forgot to mention is in The Last Jedi, we have in the very beginning a dreadnought class ship. Now, it's not said that it's from the Katana fleet, but I'm wondering if they're going to use Thrawn, having the contents of the catacombs, if they in fact are being, just individuals being resurrected, are they going to, is he going to make a play for the Katana fleet and bring this massive army of dreadnought ships in as his means of kind of decimating Coruscant, because essentially he may have the manpower to actually run them. So who knows? But that would be kind of interesting. But not for this season, though. Season 1, no Katana fleet, no mention of it. Jabroni from Uncle Todd and I. Jabroni is the result. Number 23, Thrawn will use Salamiri to trap Ahsoka. We both said the real. That was a big old Jabroni because there wasn't a Salamiri in sight the whole season. We are number 24. Thrawn has harnessed the power of the Purgles. That's a big old jabroni. He was, if anything, he was harnessing the power of the minefield to basically destroy them. Oh, good. And honestly, when I first saw that, when I saw the way all those mines were spread out from the jump point, that reminded me a lot of that whole thing around Coruscant from The Last Command, where he would set those sorts of traps and stuff. And I'm like, I was telling my wife, I'm like, this is why Thrawn is such a great character. Like, he doesn't just let things be. He, and then she looked at me. I gotta
ask you, when you're saying things like that, does your wife react the same way mine does, where she's just like, why in the ever-loving crap did I say yes? Why?
Kind of. No, I'm kidding.
Because mine does. She's like, okay, whatever. I'm going to go over and nap here.
Yes. All right. So Jabroni all around for that. Number 25, Thrawn will ride a Purgle. Yes, we actually threw that in there because we needed to have our Yee-hoo! We needed to have a little bit of a
kind Slim
of a joke.
Pickens on the nuke in
That's
Dr.
right.
Strangelove.
That's right.
Can't someone make that happen in like CGI? I want that so badly.
Possibly.
I'll get to work on that.
Thrawn did not ride a Purgle, so that's jabroni all around, so we get points for that. Number 26, last one of this section. I actually ruled this as the real. Purgles will once again whisk a character away to the unknown regions. Now, I know Perdea is not the unknown regions, but I did find it funny that technically the Purgles did whisk Ahsoka and her droid away to that galaxy. So I called that the real. We both got it. We both guessed the real. I figured give us a couple points. Why not?
Sure, why not?
After this section, we are still Uncle Todd is still +3 up on me. Next section, what's up with Ahsoka? Number 27, Anakin is guiding Ahsoka through this journey. Now, we may need to have a discussion on this one because you said jabroni, I said the real. I kind of ruled this the real because Anakin's presence throughout this season was a theme. And there is an element of his presence in 5 or 4 that steers her in the direction of going and pursuing Sabine. So, and then we have the ending where she declares she's where she needs to be and her master is there overseeing where she's at. So I kind of feel like he has been a guide for her. She references the recordings on the ship. So I'm feeling the real on this one, but hands up, little snug.
The only thing I can be a little litigious with here is throughout. Because to me that's a little bit more than.
Well,
so yeah, there's an outsized influence in one episode, and then there's a sideways mention of him in one other. However, by Star Wars standards, that's throughout. So yeah, I'm willing to go with that because it kind of fits the container in which it's placed.
Thank you. Well, there's also the training she was doing on the ship. So before they made the trip to the other galaxy, she was doing training that was steeped in his,
which I thought isn't that referencing the right after that she references the recordings, like, oh, he made
I think so
recordings, which I mean so by Star Wars standards is like, oh yeah, he was all over that piece,
So Uncle Todd's up by +2. Can I get my piano, please?
Oh, because you gained 1 point.
Yeah. I want to take my victories where I can get them. Thank you. I want a glorious as well. Come on now. Jeez Louise.
I'll tell you what. When you go up, then you get a glorious.
5 minutes of L.A. Night, and I get like 2 seconds of.
What?
Of
you want to hear some more L.A. Night? Okay, we can do that.
Number 28.
He wants to see you dancing. Come on, what are you doing?
We will see a flashback.
Are
to
you
Anakin.
You're gonna deny the megastar? Really?
Well, it's almost midnight where you are. I'm trying to be respectful of time.
You bastard. Well played. Well played.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. We will see a flashback to Anakin and Ahsoka. We both said the real. I put this as the real World Between Worlds. I think that was definitely.
We saw a ton of like flashbacks within that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So points all around for us here. Oh, here's another one. Ahsoka finds Ezra. Uncle Todd correctly said Jabroni. I said the real. And the answer was Jabroni because it is Sabine who finds Ezra. So Uncle Todd +3.
Want to see you dancing?
I'm not dancing right now. Maybe at the end. I'll give you a little, shoulder shimmy or something like that. I don't know. Again, I'm trying to get through this because you were complaining about, it's
Tim's grumpy. Tim is grumpy.
Tim's getting tired.
He's going to be out in front and yelling at kids to get off his lawn.
All right.
His wife's
30.
going to be like, those are squirrels, dear. Come back inside.
Good God. All right. Number 30. Last one of this section. Ahsoka saves Ezra. We both said Jabroni. I actually put the real on this one because technically in episode 7, she does come in and provide some backup for them when they are surrounded and being attacked by Shin Hati and the roving band of ne'er-do-wells.
We already have Sabine saving Ezra, right?
No, Sabine finds Ezra.
No, there was
Sabine rescues Ezra. Sabine rescues Ezra.
Wow, you're trying to play such a fracking technicality here, dude.
It doesn't really matter. We both said Jabroni, and it's the real. We don't get any points.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
You're still at +3. It's like you're arguing, gravity at that point. All right. Next section.
Oh, you want to argue gravity?
Nobody expects the Jedi Inquisition. All right, number 31. I practiced that all day. Number 31.
That's very good, by the way.
Thank you. The Inquisitor Ahsoka fights is in a flashback. Uncle Todd said the real. I said the Jabroni, and that was, in fact, the Jabroni. So Uncle Todd is now only up by +2. Can I get the piano tickled keys, please? Thank you very much. Oh, he's going to let it go, isn't he? Oh, yeah. All right. The number 32. The Inquisitor is Barriss Offee. I don't have the article open for who Barriss Offee is. It was some character from like Clone Wars or potentially
Sounds
Rebels.
Like a character from a British sitcom.
Yeah, basically. Well, anyways, we both said Jabroni. It was Jabroni. Moving on to number 33. The Inquisitor. Thank you, Cheeky. The Inquisitor is Mara Jade. We both said the real. That was a big fat Jabroni. You know what we forgot to put in here? The Inquisitor is a big pile of dust. That's what we didn't put. Ahsoka stabs him in the torso. It's like...
And then Keith Richards snorts him.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Yeah. So the Inquisitor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. The Inquisitor was not Mara Jade, and therefore we both got that wrong. And then lastly, the Inquisitor is Ezra Bridger. This was the one we were all kind of expecting that it was going to be the big reveal that Ezra was the bad guy. And working with Thrawn.
Who's this we all? You got a mouse over there in your pocket?
We talked about... okay. You're going to claim ignorance again with your memory?
Yeah, I don't recall.
that could have been anyone's ass.
And you know what? It could have been. You can't prove that's not me. You can't prove it is me. There's no birthmark there. That ingrown hair could have been from anybody.
Oh my God. Oh.
I love how you move your microphone away, like you still can't hear it.
I'm
People
doing
can't
that so
hear
I
you
can wipe
wheezing
my
for
eyes
breath.
without hitting the microphone. Oh my God. Oh. That was hysterical.
But what an attractive ass it is. Anyways. Firm. Supple. And shapely. I would like to compliment whoever's ass that is. Even though it may not be mine. What an ass. 11 out of 10, I say.
Oh my God.
It's too bad we shall never know who it belongs to.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've officially gone off the rails.
Oh my God. Okay.
You broke out the tissues. That was great.
Oh God. Oh my goodness. All right. We are next. We're moving on to next.
Moving on to the next ass section. I mean, section ass. Oh, crap.
The next section.
Turn the other cheek.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Finally, not finally, next to last section. What's up with that?
Next to last. Are you God? Questions do we have here?
All right. Well, this one I think is where things go off the rails for me because when I wrote these, I was assuming and I think I said this already, the space gyroscope that we saw in like the early episodes of the season where they located that, galaxy. For some reason, I thought that was like the world between worlds when it was being referred to as that. So a lot of these that I wrote probably don't. I mean, in some ways they make sense because we did see the world between worlds, but I wrote it was almost like by accident. So somehow my error was not as bad as it could have been.
Dude, that's the message of my entire life right there.
Number 35, the world between worlds deals with time travel. I kind of put this as, we both said Jabroni. I put it as Jabroni because it jumped through time, but I wouldn't call it time travel. It was more like memories. Yeah, flashbacks. So I said Jabroni on that. Number 36, the world between worlds deals with different realities. Uncle Todd said Jabroni. I said the real. I put this as Jabroni because this was while it was dealing with different flashbacks in time, I wouldn't call them different realities. It was just a flashback. So Uncle Todd goes up, I believe, now +4. So, yeah, celebrate it while you can. Or are you at +3? I have it all calculated out. So sorry if I've lost track here.
+4.
+4. Okay. Number 37, the world between worlds is connected to Thrawn's plans. Uncle Todd said Jabroni. I said the real. It was Jabroni. So he is now at +5. There you go. All right. Number 38, Balin Skoll and Shin Hati are connected to Thrawn's plans. We both said the real. It was, in fact, the real. So we got that correct. Thank you, Stevie. And then number 39, Barriss Offee will have a redemption arc. So again, this character who sounds like they're from an English play, basically
it's a Mephisto for Star Wars, basically.
Yeah, like we'll bring this up in the next, Real and Jabroni based on Star Wars. Barriss Offee will make an appearance. We both said Jabroni. It was Jabroni because there was no character named Barriss Offee. So got that right. Number 40, the Chimera will be involved in battle. I actually put the real on this one. When I wrote it, I was thinking about Chimera in like space battle. But in a way, Chimera was in a battle because it was raining, fire down upon Ahsoka and Ezra and Sabine. So we both said the real. I put the real for this one. So that is where we land there. So Uncle Todd is, I believe, at a +5 right now. +5. Finally, we are in our last section called When the Man Comes Around. And this
Otherwise
is where
known as Everybody Gonna Die.
Indeed. And so we'll start running through these. Number 41, Ahsoka will die. Uncle Todd correctly said Jabroni. I said the real answer was correctly Jabroni. So you're at +6. Okay. I think we miscounted somewhere because, anyways, I'll explain to you why when we get to the end. But, anyways, number 42, Sabine will die.
There's going to be a hanging Chad somewhere in here, and I'm going to lose.
No,
that's what's going to happen.
No. Sabine will die. We both said Jabroni. It was Jabroni. Number 43, Hera will die. We both said Jabroni. That was Jabroni as well. Hera is alive and well. Number 44, Ezra will die. Well, he almost did, trusting himself to be force pushed by Sabine, which I would think in reality no one would even trust their friend to do that. But nonetheless, Jabroni all around. Jabroni is the result. Number 45, Balin and Shin will be defeated. That is Jabroni's all around because they really weren't defeated at all. It was kind of a stalemate. So they are still functioning and, pursuing different paths. Number 46, Ahsoka will complete Sabine's training as a Jedi. Uncle Todd said Jabroni. I said the real. And I put this one as Jabroni because I don't know that you can call her as, complete, training. If anything, she can now continue her training in a more focused way. So
she managed to execute one force push.
Yes. So let me just refer to my spreadsheet here. So what number was that we just did? 46? Yeah.
Good question.
46. So, yeah, so you would be at a +6 at this point. That's where you'd be. All right. Uncle Todd's at a +6. It's going to take a miracle for the man they call Tim to come back. Number 47. Thrawn will succeed in starting to rebuild the Empire. We both said the real on this. And I actually marked this as the real because, in a way, he is starting to rebuild the Empire.
Yeah.
That's his
intention. Him showing up. It's like all of a sudden now there's a competent dude in the room. It's like, oh, hey, we got a chance.
Yep. Number 48, Thrawn will have a conversation with Mon Mothma. Now, I should have put Thrawn will have a conversation with Ahsoka because he has that fantastic, braggadocious moment at the end there. But I was kind of hoping he would be popping up on the HoloNet to let Mon Mothma know that he's back in town. But nonetheless, did not happen. We both said the real. It was a Jabroni, so we don't get points for that. Number 49, Thrawn will succeed in uniting the Imperial Remnant and New Republic for the coming invasion. This, of course, is built on the idea that he's a herald of an invasion from an outside force of some kind, the Yuzong Vong or the Grisk. Of course, that was not even close to what happened. We both said Jabroni. Jabroni was the result. So we each get points for that. And then lastly, number 50, the Uncle Todd super special bonus question. At least 4 people listened to this whole episode without fast forwarding. Uncle Todd said Jabroni. I put the real. I do have the emails in my inbox. It is the real. And
I'd like to see some screenshots, sir. I'd like to see some screenshots.
You can get them later on, so I will.
Yeah.
I will mark it as such. With all that being said, we are now looking at a +5 for Uncle Todd. So with a score of 42 to 32, a 10-point thrashing that he just put me through. Uncle Todd is now 1 bourbon bottle up on the man they call Tim. Congratulations, sir.
And everybody going to be saying, Uncle Todd.
There you go. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thank you very much.
You outdid me in the real and Jabroni for Ahsoka. But yeah, if we go back and look, I didn't do a full count, but I think the number of reels was like 10 or less, and out of 50. Out of 50 rumors. Holy moly.
It was a little rough. A little snug.
little snug.
Yep.
Well done, sir. Well done on your prognostication skills.
Well, thank you, and I expect that bottle of Pappy 23 to be making its way to Maine shortly.
I do want to give a quick fantasy football update. Final has come in, ladies and gentlemen. Man they call Tim has tied this week. Not a win, not a loss, but a tie. 194 to 194. I'm very disappointed that the Dallas defense could not have tanked it anymore. But just ridiculous.
Crap the bed.
Just ridiculous. All right. Anyways, that is all for Real and Jabroni, sir. Well done.
Well done, sir. And once again, as always, well done coming up with sleuthing around the interwebs and finding all of these rumors in the first place, composing a few yourself, and being able to work a spreadsheet, because that is something that I, as an adult grown man, I can't do it. I suck at
mathematical formulas. I've got colored cells. I've got sorting going on. I mean, it's a whole product in and of itself. I should sell it.
You ought to. You really ought to. I don't know who would buy it, but go right ahead. Hey, you got my blessing for all that matters.
All right.
And another thing.
Well, what do you got for and another thing this week?
I'm going to keep mine simple because I'm fading pretty fast here. But basically, I am just coming off of a wonderful vacation that I spent with my wife last week. We flew from Chicago to Washington, D.C.
Now, how did you fly?
First class, baby, all the way. First class.
No, and the thing that's surprising there is this was not Tim just flying by himself. This is Tim bringing somebody else and paying for the extra first class seat.
Absolutely. Spare no expense. So,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond.
Got to,
And when did the dinosaurs eat the Washington Monument?
That could have been any dinosaur's ass.
Those scales on them cheeks, they had a distinct pattern.
We were there from Tuesday through Saturday. I just had a great time. So my end, another thing is just, for any listeners who have families who may not be aware of this, much of what you can do in DC around the museums and the memorials and that sort of thing is all free. It's all free. A couple of them have started to do timed entries where you have to just reserve a time or just get tickets for a certain time because they're trying to control the flow of crowds, in and out. But it's free. You don't have to pay anything. So it's a real nice way to bring, the family, see some history, a lot of variation in the museums, a lot of great exhibits. We actually went up to a local bookstore that was hosting a book talk with an NPR personality that we've listened to a lot. Got to meet him. He signed the book and everything. And so, but just all around, just DC is just such a great place. A lot of great restaurants. Went to this one called Founding Farmers. It's really like all the food is based. I think it's this. I'm not coming up with the right word, but this collection of farms, I don't know what to call it, but
like
it's kind of like a co-op in a way, but they provide, all the fresh meats and vegetables and things like that. And so it's not quite a scratch kitchen, but it's pretty close. And so, just had a great meal there. Went to Old Ebbitt, I think it's called Old Ebbitt's Grill or something like Old Ebbitt's. Oh God, I'm forgetting. My brain is not working at this hour. Let me just look it up real quick. Old Ebbitt Grill. I was right. Great restaurant with a lot of history in the DC area. And then there's some offshoots of it. It was a place called the Hamilton we went to, which was great. Had a great brunch there. So a lot of good places to eat. A lot of great sights to see. I think after the 5 days, we did about 35 miles of walking, all total. So one day in particular, we walked 10 miles. I think that was Wednesday. Got to see the Capitol, did a tour inside the Capitol. So just, I would just say
he was actually up to be Speaker of the House at one point. He was leading the votes, but he couldn't quite get a consensus.
Indeed. I was trying to use one of those dry erase markers to just X out, the name that was up there and just kind of write my own.
I can use a spreadsheet. I don't know.
But nonetheless, I would just highly recommend it as a destination. You know, if you're looking for a vacation idea, it is a great place to visit. I would avoid it in August. Apparently, the temperatures there are just awful. We've done it ourselves, but the humidity is awful. Oh, the Pizza. That is a fantastic pizza place if you ever go. I tried a variety of pizzas. Sent Uncle Todd a picture of one of them. It was kind of like the Bacon Lovers or Bacon Me Crazy is what they call it. And tried they had a buffalo chicken one. They had one called the Butcher's Block, which is literally like every meat known to man on a slice. It was just incredible. So highly recommend Washington, D.C. Do check it out. And yeah. That is my end. Another thing. What is yours, sir?
And for the record, when Tim was at one of these restaurants, he sent me the menu and said, unfortunately, no deviled eggs. As it so happened, I happened to be out eating, and there were deviled eggs, and I was eating them at the same time.
That's right.
You want to talk about, serendipity? It is a thing. Another thing.
The universe heard us, my friend. The universe heard us.
I know, which is very rare. I wish the universe heard me a little more often. Thanks, universe. Not speaking here of the WWE universe.
Yes.
Another thing is the Longmire Mystery series of books by Craig Johnson. And these are the books that the series Longmire was based on. Go figure. Nice. It's very interesting because I kind of am in the middle of like a third, maybe a fourth rewatch of Longmire. And it's funny because my mom, who now lives with us, she's now getting into this show. So every time she's like, hey, you going to watch your show tonight? I'm like, no, I can't watch tonight. Oh, so she's disappointed. But it's interesting to read the source material and to see the differences in the characters. Because, of course, going from one medium to another, changes have to be made. You very rarely take a book one for one and change it into anything else, because there's things that are strictly work in book world that don't work as well in TV world or movie world. So it's interesting to see how they change some of the characters. And because I came to the show first, I can't think of Walt Longmire as anybody but the actor who played him. I can't think of Vic as anybody but Katie Sackhoff, even though the description of the character is very different.
Yeah,
I can't think of Henry as anybody but Lou Diamond Phillips, and so on and so forth. And overall, I can appreciate the changes that they made, but I can also kind of appreciate the source material, because to me it's like a totally different thing.
Yeah.
But it is that same. They did get the same flavor of mystery, that you get in the book, and I do appreciate that. And it is well written. It's a series, so there's a little bit of a recap at the beginning of each. Each time they reintroduce a character at the beginning of each book, you kind of get a feel for who it is. So that can be kind of a little monotonous. I think I'm on the third book right now. And just starting, I'm like, oh yeah, because we got to reintro everybody, that sort of thing. But it's minor, and then you get into the meat of the story, and you're like, oh yeah. And so for me, kind of the thing is, as I'm going through these books, I'm like, okay, now which episodes or which story arc is this based off of? That sort of thing. But they're fun. They're well written. You can kind of speed through them. I'm not an extraordinarily fast reader, but even I just kind of go through them pretty quick, and I don't feel like I'm missing a lot. It's not like I'm speed reading them. But they're good. They're fun books, and it's good, clean fun with a lot of dead bodies. Kind of sounds weird to describe murder mysteries as good, clean fun, but hey,
indeed,
there it is.
Indeed. Nice.
Well, thank you to all the members of the Free Range Idiocy congregation who have stuck with us this long, either through the first episode or through this one. It's been a haul. You know what? Damn it, buy yourself a drink on us. You deserve it. If you have not yet become part of the Free Range Idiocy congregation, if you have not converted, then what you need to do is go to freerangeidiocy.com and follow us there. You can get all of our episodes at that website, and you can download them one by one. You can just download all of them. You can subscribe directly through the Podbean app. If you say to yourself, I got plenty of damn apps in my life and not enough mozzarella sticks, then fine, don't get the Podbean app. Just go to the podcast purveyor of your choice and search for Free Range Idiocy. Chances are we are on them. We're on all the biggies: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Alexa or Amazon. They have terrible branding for whatever Amazon's platform is. I have no fracking idea what it's called. A whole bunch of others, like, you know, Ralph's House of Podcasts. You know, I'm sure we're on all of those. And go ahead and just subscribe there. And, you know, hey, we give you the big thumbs up, cheap pop for that one. We appreciate it. If you would like to follow us on the social medias, you can find us on Instagram. We are on. We're also on Facebook. We're on YouTube. If you want to get all of your full episodes via YouTube, if you like the YouTubes, all of our episodes wind up on YouTube, so you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and you can get all the episodes there too. We don't discriminate. However you want to listen to us, that's, you know, well, that's your fault. And then if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, you can send those to Tim at freerangeidiocy.com. He is our scribe. He is our fount of all things true and righteous in this world. And he's just a much nicer person than I am, so he likes to answer those emails, even though he just blatantly made up the fact that he had emails in his inbox about people who had actually listened to the first show. That is utter horsepucky, but you know what? I'll let it slide. You send those to Tim at freerangeadc.com, and he'll get back to you forthwith, if not sooner. Those are like show ideas, any questions you have for us, or if you just want to say, like, hey, this person on the interwebs said hello to us, feel free to send those to us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it has come time for me to stop flapping my gums and to turn this over to the less idiotic of the two idiots who run this show to kick us on home, but not before I ask the second most important question in all of human history. The first, of course, being what is hip. The second being, what the hell did we learn this episode?
We've learned the following. We've learned the man they call Tim's fantasy team. As Uncle Todd turns around and sees if there's
I keep hearing these noises, and quite honestly, it's freaking me out.
Oh, my God. Anyways, hearing things, folks. The man they call Tim's fantasy team is showing grit and toughness this
toughing
week.
Out a tie? Okay.
Hey, it's not a loss. It's a tie.
Oh, wow. You were talking big before, and now all of a sudden the humility comes in.
Oh, come on now. It's all uphill from here. It's all taken off at this point. It's like LA Knight. It's going to just take off. It's going to be like
you
rocket strapped to the back of his team.
Be true to yourself. Maintain your confidence. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Just claim it. That ass was your ass in that picture.
Yeah, that's the other thing we also learned, and Uncle Todd just hit on it. We've also learned that Edge, a.k.a. Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Cope, is an AEW, but he's I don't know if he's going to light the world on fire the same way as one CM Punk did, so we shall see. We shall see. We've also learned that Uncle Todd texts man they call Tim articles for the show, and then apparently doesn't read them, so...
I read it. Okay, I read it, and then I forgot about it completely. To the fact that when I was looking at the outline, I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
We have also learned that the man they call Tim and Uncle Todd both suffer from memory issues. Me can't remember the word catacombs until 20 minutes later, and Uncle Todd doesn't remember the article he read. So we're all brand loyal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're
going to start a pool
for?
on which host this podcast is going to pee himself and not notice for the entire episode?
No lie. No lie. We have also learned that Ahsoka was a fantastic season, even though man they call Tim had a couple things to quibble about. It was still a fantastic show, and just a great season overall. Looking forward to the next round of content once the actors' strike comes to an end. And finally, we have learned that for this round at least, Uncle Todd is the better man, coming out 42-32, 10-point victory. Man they call Tim tips his hat to him, and we will find out what reasonably priced bourbon he is going to want.
You're not wearing a hat.
Well,
I can see you now, and you're not tipping your cap to me.
It's the metaphorical hat.
You have like 2 or 3 caps behind you. You could actually legitimately tip your cap.
Yeah, well.
Wow, how disrespectful is that?
Yeah,
I'll disrespectful is that?
There, I'm tipping the cap. There you go.
You just jiggle the monitor like, there you go. Shut up.
That's right. That's all you're getting from me at 10:40 in the evening. With all that being said, thank you for the listenership. Our last episode, we appreciate on Podbean the 12 of you that downloaded the episode, and it's up from...
give out the numbers. I was feeling pretty good until right now.
It's just Podbean. When you look at YouTube, we have a lot more folks that hit us up there, so it's all good. And we know there's at least 4 that listened to the whole episode that we did of Free and Jabroni, so, you know. Nonetheless, thank you for the listenership. We appreciate it, as always. And to wrap things up, be safe, be healthy, be kind, be good to one another. It is that time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. The range is closed.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking.
You're such a disappointing pair. I prayed so hard for you. Get out. And don't come back until you've redeemed yourselves.
Dara, if somebody's going to be taking pictures, make sure that you have your ass covered. Or at the very least, powdered.
Do you see how one phrase just sets him off?
There's nothing worse than a harsh glare coming off of a cheek.
Oh my gosh.
There's no filter for that. There's no filter for that. How do you remove light glare off an ass cheek? Photoshop won't do that. AI won't do that.
One last thing that we learned is that Thrawn's debut and his presence in the season was glorious. Was it not, sir?
It was. It was.
That was a cue to hit the music.
Do you think his ass cheeks are a deeper blue than the rest of him?
I don't think about that at all. That is clearly something you have been thinking about, but not me. No, I'm good.
Well,
I'm good.
You ought to give it some thought.
Now get the hell out of here!